Hi, I'm Craig Jenke. I am one of the head organizers for M365 Virtual Chicago. We're calling it a Taste of Chicago this year. So we have all of our tracks are named after kind of local food. Hot dogs, we've got Italian beef, we've got Eli's. Well, no, we got cheesecake. We're not saying where it's from. A couple other things on that, and we've had some interesting discussions about those. We have with me as our annual sponsor, or I'm going to call you our annual sponsor, second year returning sponsor, Edward Watson and Karinne Bessette from Veeam. I would like you guys to thank you very much for sponsoring it. It makes it so much easier when we have people who like you who are embrace the community and will help us out with our initiatives for trying to bring M365 knowledge to the community. Like to take a second and let you introduce yourselves because you could probably do it better than me. Let's go with Karinne first, ladies first.
Thank you. My name is Karinne Bessette. I'm a technologist here at Veeam Software. I specialize in the Office 365 platform suite. We also have a product that is centralized around that product, which I am at the forefront on the product strategy side.
Nice, thanks. And what's your favorite Chicago food, if you have one?
I was supposed to go there last year, and then this entire thing happened. I am just so uncultured. I haven't been there. I'll have to try them all.
What's your favorite food in general? We'll go that way. We'll see if we can give you a Chicago recommendation.
You know what? I'm a big fan of stromboli. I like a good stromboli.
I don't have a place in Chicago that makes that. But when I went to college at Eastern Illinois University, that was our most popular seller. I worked at a pizza place called Jerry's Pizza, so that was our popular sandwich seller. So I'm very familiar with them. I just don't know where I would go to get one. We'll find that out though. Edward.
Yes, sir. Product marketing manager at Veeam. Do everything from the messaging, launch, and promotion and adoption of Veeam products. And my favorite Chicago special is actually the Italian beef. I love Italian beefs. My wife's from Chicago. She introduced me to all the wonders of Italian beef. So definitely love those.
Where's she from in Chicago?
She's from the south suburbs, Lamont.
Yeah, up by the golf course.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
Where the Western Open used to be. Now it's the BMW Championship. I think it's only there periodically, but okay. Cool. Nice to know that you got some Chicago roots here.
Absolutely.
All right. Again, thank you for sponsoring us. But let's get a little bit more on what Veeam does and what do you do for M365 and why this conference? Why are we out here?
Right. Well, yeah. So go ahead, Karinne.
I was just going to say, we actually back up several of the Office 365 platform from Exchange, which is where we started, to SharePoint, OneDrive, and with version 5, we teased it back in November, and it's already been officially released, Microsoft Teams. We're able to back those up to a centralized platform and give you granular restore options that you probably wouldn't otherwise have, as well as all of that metadata that gets restored back, so you get a good, smooth experience.
Nice.
Go ahead, Edward.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just to call out some differentiators, I think one word that comes to mind is flexibility of choice. So whether you want to deploy the solution on premises, whether you want to deploy in a cloud like AWS or in the Azure Marketplace, we give you the flexibility to do that. And then, of course, storage options. Really, we leave it up to you in terms of where you want to store that data. If you want to store it in the cloud, use object storage. Maybe even one of our managed service providers to take care of all that backup for you. So again, many different options, and that's really a differentiator when it comes to Veeam versus maybe other vendors or other guys that like to lock you into various storage solutions. So
nice. So I think that's pretty cool. I know for a fact that sometimes restoring things can be painful, but need to be done when somebody deletes something that they didn't intend to delete, or a process goes sideways that you weren't expecting it to go and actually removes data that you didn't intend to. So being able to restore that can be pretty beneficial. And I know that it's not always the easiest thing to do. So I'm glad you have a solution for that. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but Karinne kind of teased this. I think with the release of version 5, she just said was out. The next question was going to be, what's changed since the last time you were here back in November when we did our first conference?
So I did tease that we released version 5. I think, Edward, you got some key points on that one for us.
Yeah, so really when it comes to backing up teams, previously we were very limited in terms of how we were able to back that up. In fact, many vendors were. I don't think there was really an efficient way to get the recoveries going. You had to kind of manually find where you needed to restore that data and kind of make sure it was back in the original place. With the Microsoft Teams APIs and that recent API release, many of the vendors on the forefront actually started to adopt these APIs. And Veeam, of course, was one of the first ones to jump on those APIs and really create a pretty unique way of making sure there was restore efficiency, that you were having full control over and visibility over exactly what you were backing up in Microsoft Teams. And then, of course, having e-discovery capabilities as well, really having a very broad set of search criteria so that you can essentially find that needle in a haystack, that Teams conversation or file, and get that off for legal or compliance purposes, or really for whatever purposes you would need.
You made a great segue there into how not everyone has adopted the new Teams API yet and how we were all backing it up before. And that kind of tails into some of our presentation that we plan on doing on the Teams topic, where it's not a self-contained application. It's an application that gives you a front end, that collaborative interface so that you can talk to everyone without having to send an email or an immediate notification, or even using the back end of Streams to have this type of recording and call.
Nice. Yeah. That sounds cool. So I have a question then. We know that it's not easy to back up and restore, but what is it like for a user then to be able to pick up and use your software and do a process like that?
So you mentioned earlier that it's kind of difficult to go to all these different administrator centers and learn each of the processes that you need in order to restore files, or even just the entire site, not just files. Files is a whole other story I'm sure
Right.
you're very aware of. But coming to a centralized platform that has all the same look and feel. And here's another secret sauce behind Veeam is we haven't just been doing Exchange backup and SharePoint backup since Office 365. We've been doing it since it was an on-prem infrastructure, and we built these same explorers with tons of feedback from user-driven communities saying, I wish it was this way, from Exchange admins to this way. And no matter if you're running an on-prem install or if you're in the cloud for Exchange Online, it's the exact same Explorer with the exact same look and feel to the back end there. So we've developed that, and I think that's what really sets us ahead against some of the competition. We've just been doing it longer.
That's good. So what I like is you said the secret sauce, and I know you're going to have a presentation talk a little bit about that. And you've said that you've talked to users and got their feedback. What do you think is like the number one feature or two that your people really love, that your users love, or that you love the demo?
I love demos all the way around, but I love deleting data live and having it restored while we're on screen, not just in a raw data format, but you see the change date from the original deleted file. It's back to its original location, exactly how you expect it, in minutes instead of hours figuring out how to trace it down, download it, and re-upload it. And our Restore Explorers have so many options. I think we have over 40 different ways to restore just through our Explorers at this point, one of which is being able to send an email directly from that Explorer with the file that you want to give back to your end user as an attachment. So you never have to download and re-upload if you just need to satisfy, say, a ticket request even. So Edward probably has something he's a fan of, but I love our Restore Explorers.
Yeah, of course I would say restores as well are just amazing to work with. Our explorers, searching for data, of course, extremely easy as well. Even if you're not quite sure exactly what the name is of that file, just putting in the first 3 letters, or even just a little bit, it pulls up your entire Teams environment, and you can really get that very granular scope of your entire environment. So really,
If I had
really
to pick a
clever stuff.
two, it's going to be the object storage, though. We
Yes.
had a huge user request for object storage because we all know Exchange is pretty static. You can't send that big of an email. Sometimes you have some
Right.
spam come through and that grows. But the volatility that comes with opening up SharePoint Online and OneDrive to end businesses just had tremendous explosions of data. And if all we had was an on-prem type of disk spinning storage, that's hard to expand out. But we
Right.
moved over to object storage, which gives you the flexibility to move it to object storage. But like Edward said, we don't lock it there. You still own your data, but you have that abstraction layer to continue to grow.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds pretty sweet. All right. So we talked a little bit earlier before we jumped in that you guys are going to be doing some things and out there demoing it. Did I hear that right? Other conferences you might be presenting at? Do you want to talk a little bit about where people can find you at?
So I'm actually Rin Bytes on Twitter and LinkedIn, RINBYTES. We're going to be pretty much at any collaboration event that's coming up in the next 6 months. I'm going to be live at M365 or SharePoint Collaboration Fest in Florida next week. I'm stoked for that. In July, we start our SharePoint Fest line. Edward and I will both be there for sure. I'm going to try to get over even to the UK if I can get in on that one. And the borders open up down in in England.
I
Edward?
saw that. Yeah, I got
Yeah.
Somewhere south of England, yes.
Yeah, south part of England. Southbridge? Hampton, Southampton. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
It's all the same. Just kidding. So where do they find Veeam in general if they're interested in your product?
Yeah, please visit veeam.com. We also I want to mention, we had our own Veeam event, our global event that we have each year. You can also watch some of the sessions there if you want a deeper dive into some of our other solutions. We have a very comprehensive event there, so feel free to check that out.
Veeam.com/Veeamon will get you directly to our event page, which is all free, and you can watch all of the recordings and some on-demand content we're going to be making later this month.
Oh, nice. Well, I appreciate all the information about Veeam. Again, thank you for sponsoring. Nice to find out your favorite foods. Well, I'll look for a Stromboli place. You said you're going to be in for SharePoint Fest in July, right? So
Yep.
See if there is a lot of good food around McCormick Place in general. So we will look for something. But again, thank you for coming. Thank you for talking to us. Is there anything else you want to give us as a parting line before we leave?
I'm just excited to be here. This is a great community event, and you guys are in all of those micro communities out there for the other teams' meetings that come out, and I always get a shout out from everyone. It's great.
Oh, cool. Thanks.
Absolutely. And, if you're still on the fence about protecting M365 data, definitely turn up to our session. We'll provide some really good guidance around some of the reasons why you should really be considering backup.
All right. Awesome. Thanks again. And we'll talk to you. I think it's almost 24 hours from when your session will go on. So hope you're ready.
Absolutely.
Thanks again. And
thanks, Craig.